Routine preventive maintenance and inspection procedures are the most cost-effective practices that any equipment owner can implement to help prevent unscheduled breakdowns. Because the Anthony Magnum Railtrac liftgate is service-free, there's no need to perform routine lubrication of major components. The fact is that 80% of liftgate downtime is due to simple electrical malfunctions. So throughout this section of the video, we'll continually remind you of the importance of checking all wires and connections. The following procedure will take approximately 15 minutes and should be performed on a monthly schedule or more frequently in severe duty applications. These inspections should only be completed by a qualified mechanic. If you have any questions about your qualifications to operate or maintain Anthony liftgate products, please contact your Anthony distributor or call our factory customer service department at 800-482-0003. We suggest you start the inspection at the front of the truck and work your way back to the liftgate. Make sure the vehicle is securely braked before performing any of the following steps. First, check the batteries in the truck chassis. On a straight truck, these batteries are generally located behind the cab along the frame rails. Normally, the truck batteries are used to charge 2 additional batteries located in the liftgate power unit. This setup is recommended to provide optimal performance and reliability and to prevent voltage drop. Check the fluid level. Also check for cracks, leaks, or other obvious damage, and make sure they're well secured. Check the liftgate power cable or charge cable connection. Take hold of the terminal and try to wiggle the cable. Don't just do a visual inspection. The slightest loose connection may be enough to cause an electrical malfunction. On a tractor-trailer application, check the liftgate power cable connection, including both the socket and the plug. Clean off any corrosion you may find. If you have an older truck and the batteries show signs of wear, make sure you remove any corrosion, dirt, or grease from the battery terminals and connections. Use a post cleaner and apply grease or battery terminal protectant before reconnecting. If the battery shows severe signs of age, check the voltage and replace them if necessary. Don't wait for the batteries to fail. Don't hesitate to crawl under the truck to inspect the liftgate battery charging cable. Also check the circuit breaker, usually located within 2 feet of the battery. Follow the cable to the cab cutoff switch. Wiggle the connections to make sure they're tight and remove any dirt or corrosion. Now, follow the cable back to the liftgate power unit where it connects to the circuit breaker and power cutoff switch. If the cable is enclosed in a plastic loom, check the wire wherever it's visible and make sure the entire length of cable is not cut or damaged. If it is, replace it. Next, inspect the power unit box. Although the box is made of galvanneal steel to prevent rusting and corrosion, check it for damage and remove any buildup of dirt or debris. Also check the hinges and hasps. Make sure all the rubber grommets are installed in the access holes. These prevent damage to wires and hoses and keep them from rubbing against the metal surface. Check the power unit batteries in the same way you check the truck batteries and make sure the charge cable is connected securely to the terminal along with the other battery connections. Check to be sure that all electrical connections are tight and the wires and terminals are free of corrosion. Pay special attention to the connections at the starter solenoids. Take hold of the connections and terminals and try to wiggle the wires to make sure they're tight. Look for any hydraulic fluid and check all the hydraulic hoses and fittings for fluid leaks. Tighten any loose fittings and replace any damaged or worn hoses. Check the fluid level in the power unit hydraulic tank. The tank should be filled to within ½ inch from the top of the tank when the platform is open and on the ground. With the platform in the stored position, the level will be somewhat lower, as shown here. If fluid is needed, fill the tank using Exxon Univis N15 hydraulic oil or equivalent. Next, inspect the hoses and control wires coming from the power unit to the liftgate and check for signs of leaks or chafing on the outside covering of the hoses and wiring. Make sure the wires are securely fastened to the truck body and remove any built-up dirt and debris. Before cycling the liftgate, make a visual inspection of the gate for damage. While the gate is in the stored position, check the columns for any visual damage or cracked welds that might prevent the gate from operating freely. If you are unsure the liftgate will operate, contact your Anthony distributor or factory customer service. You'll also want to maintain the finish of the liftgate so the structural integrity is not compromised in any way. Check both the street side and curbside runner latches to make sure they operate freely and that both the latches and latch springs are secured in place. Remove the bottom tail lights to gain access to the inner latch parts. Check to see that the latch fasteners are in place and securely tightened. Check the control switches, terminals, and connections for corrosion, dirt buildup, or damage. Clean and repair if needed. Make sure the area around the liftgate is free of all obstacles or obstructions and follow the operation procedures as outlined in the operation part of this video. These instructions are also included in your manual and on the decal located on the curbside column. Cycle the liftgate through the up, down, open, and close sequence. Make sure the runners slide smoothly in the rails. Check for unusual noises or vibration as the liftgate operates. Make sure the platform is level when raised to bed height. If dock loading is part of your operations requirements, check to make sure the platform can be lowered straight down. Inspect the fasteners on all the pins and brackets to make sure those parts are securely held in place. Check the platform chains and connection points. Make sure they're in good shape and the ends are connected properly. Inspect and operate the retention ramp. Examine the slide runners and clean any buildup of grime, road salt, or other contaminants. Power washing is an effective way of cleaning the slide runner and pads. Check the slide pads for any excessive or unusual wear. At no time should the pads be worn past the screw head fasteners. If the liftgate does not lower smoothly, you can apply an even coat of PAM or other cooking spray to help rejuvenate the slides. Check both the mechanical and hydraulic connections to the cylinders. Also, on the inside of the rail, check the runner guides to make sure they're secured by their retainers and are in proper adjustment. For proper adjustment, make sure the platform is open, then loosen the bolts, slide the runner guides rearward against the inside of the column, then back out 1/16 of an inch and tighten the bolts. Check the hoses from the closing cylinder and the wire from the traveling switch to make sure they're properly secured inside the two steel guide channels. Both the hose and wire should be relaxed and not twisted. The later model liftgates have a cable carrier inside the channels to secure the hose and cable. Earlier models use a reinforcing spring. Also, check the ends to make sure they are tied together with steel bands. Examine all warning, capacity, and operational decals. Refer to your manual for a complete list and location. If any decals are missing or not readable, replace them. New decals can be obtained from Anthony Liftgate's customer service. Now return the liftgate to the stored position, engage the runner latches, and turn the power cutoff switches to the off position. This completes our monthly inspection procedure. Be sure to keep a log of your inspections. There's a place for this in the back of the manual. Remember, a good visual walk-around inspection is the best preventive maintenance you can provide. If you need to replace any damaged parts found during your inspection or need a new manual, contact your nearest Anthony distributor or call Anthony Customer Service at 1-800-482-0003. Make sure you have the model and serial number of your liftgate available.